Listen gently, because I am going to tell you something that contradicts your habit and confirms your hope. The more you seek God as an object to be found, the more you pass by the presence that already is here. The very grasp you place upon the holy blinds you to its nearness. Be still and know that I am God. Not I will be, not I shall arrive when you master a technique, but I am now in the midst of you. So stop, let loose right now, release your reaching, loose it, and let it go. You and I know the fatigue of spiritual binging the late nights with another book, another video, another system that promises peace, if only you will apply 12 steps with enough zeal. Technique hopping is a kind of hunger that eats and is never filled because it feeds on the fear that God is somewhere else. Underneath it is a whisper. Perhaps I am still outside the door. Perhaps I must make something happen. Perhaps if I do not keep moving, the blessing will pass me by. Do you see the cruelty of this? You are trying to catch the sun by running, not noticing that the light is resting on your face. What if your searching is the proof you're missing what is here? What if the motion itself is the veil? The kingdom of God is within you. How do you reconcile that with your restless chase through conferences and meditations and borrowed affirmations? You can, in a moment like this, you can let the paradox become the doorway. Stop seeking to find, be still to discover. Wait until the very thing you wanted to manufacture rises of itself as presence. Now, I am not offering you a new method to add to the shelf. I am pointing you to the end of methods. Fewer words, deeper stillness, not more thought about God, but an inward turning that abandons outcomes and sits unarmed, unargued, until the hush comes. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, not as if it were distant, but as the one desire before which all others bow. Then wait until there is an unmistakable release, a soft authority not of your making, a warmth that says, I am here. I of my own self can do nothing. It has to be God's grace. You may say, but if I stop seeking, won't I lose what I long for? No. It is only in loosing a thing and letting it go that you truly have it, because you are no longer trying to hold an appearance. You are consenting to reality. Christ does not send you peace as a parcel. Christ is peace. And when the presence is realized, peace is inevitable. So the experiment is simple and it begins now. Stop seeking, be still until what you seek is felt as presence. If you must have a sentence, let it be this: Father, here I am. Then be quiet. Then wait. This is the door. We will not push it. We will watch it open in us. And as it opens, you will find that the tired striving falls of itself, and in its place, a quiet knowing that needs no proof. From that knowing, all else will follow. But the first step, let it be one of release. Be still, wait, and discover that God has been here all the while. Now let us speak plainly about desire. The fatigue, you know, is not from work alone. It is from divided desire. One part of the heart cries for God. Another clutches at health, at supply, at human approval, at a fixed tomorrow. No man can serve two masters. You have tried, so have I. And the result is a constant bargaining with the invisible. Give me health, give me money, give me harmony at home, then I will praise thee. But hear this: the more you try to demonstrate health, the less health you have of it. The more you try to demonstrate supply, the less supply you find in your hands. It is only in loosing a thing and letting it go that you truly have it. Stop trying to demonstrate anything or anybody. Let loose right now. Why? Because health and supply are not things in and of themselves. There is no health separate from God, no supply apart from God. Both are qualities, activities of the presence. Christ doesn't send these things. Christ is these things. When the presence is realized, they appear as byproducts, as lawful harmonies, without strain, without pride, without fear. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, not as a bargain, but as the one desire that ends all divided longing. One thing have I desired, to know thee, to dwell in thine awareness. Then wait. I of my own self can do nothing. It has to be God's grace. Look honestly at the ache of grasping. Jealousy says, if I hold tighter, I will keep love, yet the tighter the fist, the more love flees the room. Money, fear says, if I hoard and calculate, I will be safe, yet the ledger swells with anxiety. The fixer's habit says, if I adjust everyone around me, peace will arrive, yet correction multiplies offenses. These are symptoms of a divided altar. We have worshiped forms while naming God with our lips. Not form as source, but God as all. Not outcomes as saviors, but the living presence as the only life of our life. Now, a simple practice here, quietly. Name the outcome that presses on you. This diagnosis, this bank balance, this child's path, this relationship, this work to be secured. Bring each one by one into the heart's palm and say, Father, I release this into thy keeping. I loose it and let it go. My one desire is thy presence. Be still and know that I am God. Then wait until there is that unmistakable soft authority, a warmth, a peace that is not of your making. When it comes, do nothing further. The government shall be upon his shoulder. As you repeat this today, tonight, tomorrow, the center of gravity shifts. You will find there are no such things as many demonstrations. There is only one demonstration, the realization of the Christ. And from that realization, health, supply, harmony appear as the activity of the presence, as naturally as light fills a room when the sun rises. So it is. Loosen your hold. Choose one desire. Turn within. Wait. And let God be God in the midst of you. Now we must face a tender truth. Information about God is not God, and words about light do not illumine a room. Not all the truth that's written in the Infinite Way books will heal a simple headache. You can stack your shelves with teachings, underline 1,000 lines, and still the night can feel empty. Why? Because the letter is a map. The presence is the country. The letter names the river. Realization is the water on your tongue. Picture this. You are standing in a dark room. You hold a manual on electricity. You have memorized the history of the light bulb. You can recite the names of the inventors. Does the room brighten? No. One action illumines the room. You touch the switch. The current flows. So it is with truth. Reading about Christ is not the same as Christ realized. The light is not in the ink. The light is the activity of God in your consciousness. Now, let us uncover the subtle avoidance that hides beneath much spiritual busyness. Collecting teachings can be a polite way of postponing surrender. We say, one more seminar, one more chapter, one more affirmation, and then I shall rest. But we are not asked to recite the river. we are asked to drink. The letter killeth, but the Spirit giveth life. The Spirit is not a sentence you can store in a notebook. It is a presence you consent to by being still. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. Proceedeth now, not printed yesterday, not remembered merely, but received. Be still and know that I am God. The kingdom of God is within me. So we take up a living mantra, not to chant ourselves into a mood, but to turn our attention to God. Be still and know the kingdom of God is within me. Then wait. Do you hear the rule that must govern our way? We do not move on words. We wait until presence is felt and then proceed. Do not make the call because a sentence inspired you. Make the call when you are resting in that unmistakable assurance, that soft authority not of your making. Do not send the letter because your mind is agitated for resolution. Send it when the warmth tells you, I am here. I of my own self can do nothing. It has to be God's grace. Some nights, as a parent, you will be tempted to pace the floor and repeat sayings until dawn. Stop, sit down, wait until there is an inner release, a quiet certainty that the government is upon his shoulder. Then, and only then, move. Christ buried in the tomb of your mind as remembered statements cannot help you. Christ risen in your consciousness is the law of harmony. Let the switch be turned within. Let the current flow. And in that light, you will find the headache dissolves, the confusion clears, not because of syllables, but because the living presence is here. Now let us come to the exact way. Sit down. Wherever you are, let the body be at ease, and inwardly close the door. When thou prayest, enter into thy closet, and when thou hast shut thy door, pray to thy Father which is in secret. Shut the door of thought, the revolving door of plans and fears. Turn your attention Godward. Say quietly, not to move God, but to surrender yourself. I of my own self can do nothing. Father, here I am. Be still and know that I am God. Then wait. If you have been asked for help, or if your own condition cries for relief, refuse it. The throne. Drop the person. Drop the problem. Do not rehearse symptoms. Do not picture scenes. Do not try to send a thought. Forget names. Forget dates. Forget outcomes. Not the person, but the presence. Not the condition, but God. Let even your noblest wish be loosened. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after to know thee. So turn within and be still. Wait. Now here is the rule that governs. No bargaining and no timelines. We are not sitting for a result. We are consenting to reality. 3 to 5 minutes is all that is needed at this time. In these minutes, rest in receptivity, without strain, without pleading, without manufacture. If nothing in you yet stirs, if there is no assurance, do not push. Gently close your prayer with gratitude, not for an appearance, but for God being God. Then let it go. 6 hours later, return. Sit again for 3 to 5 minutes. Then, for a season, touch this inner stillness. Each hour, a breath, a minute, 2, until it takes over and carries the day without your calling it. How shall you know when to rise? There is an unmistakable signal, never noisy and never dramatic. Sometimes it is a felt peace, settling like quiet dew. Sometimes a warmth a soft ease through the chest or hands. Sometimes a simple inner word, as natural as your own thought, yet not born of fear, I am here. Sometimes it is only a release, the concern drops, and you discover you are no longer holding anything. That is enough. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. When that peace is present, do not overstay to decorate it with words. Rest in it a moment, then go about your way. The government is upon his shoulder. If, in an emergency, you cannot sit long, take one conscious turn. Father, thou art the life, the law, the light of this moment. Then be silent until the breath unknots. The point is not the length, but the listening. Use no statement except as a doorway into silence. Let every thought finish in stillness. Let every desire end in, thy will be done. This is the blueprint. Simple, steady, faithful. Sit now. Return 6 hours later. Then hourly touches until grace itself becomes the rhythm. And as you obey this cadence, you will learn by living that there are no such things as many demonstrations. There is only one demonstration, the realization of the Christ, and it performs its own work in you and through you. Be still, wait, and let God be God in the midst of you. Now let us look at the posture of help, because many of you have asked, what do I do when another calls? What is my part? Hear this. In the same stillness we have been cultivating, you are not a fixer. You are not here to adjust people, to influence conditions, or to send thoughts through space. You are a witnessing transparency for the activity of God. I of my own self can do nothing. If there is to be help, it has to be God's grace. The Christ realized, the presence felt as the only law. Cast thy burden upon the Lord. And that burden includes the person you love and the problem you fear. So when a request for help comes, do not take it up as an object to push or pull. Forget them. Do you hear? Forget them. Drop the name, the face, the symptom. No thought sending, no silent commands, no spiritual pressure to make them be what you prefer. Be still and know that I am God. Turn within and wait until there is that unmistakable assurance, that soft authority, not of your making. Then, without strain, rest there. The help is not manipulation, but realization. The Christ realized in you becomes the law of harmony to the situation. Not your will, but thy will be done. For the parent whose heart is clenched, let us speak gently. My child is not my child. It is the child of God. Lift the little one out of personal possession and into the Father's care. Suffer the little children to come unto me, and do not forbid them by wrapping them in your fear. Who is my mother, and who are my brethren? They that do the will of the Father. In that light, loosen your hold. See the child as hid with Christ in God, and wait until peace settles like dew. When that peace comes, the government is upon his shoulder. Do not then return to pacing the floor with human imaginings. Rest. Christ does not send safety as if from afar. Christ is safety. The very law of life operative where you feared for their going out and their coming in. At times, after that inner assurance, a sentence will be given. One simple, unforced. Send it. It may be nothing more than all is well or peace, be still. At other times, there is no word to send, and silence is your obedience. Do not decorate the realization with many phrases. Often, The harmony is already in motion before any letter is written. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. Let that be enough. Judge not according to the appearance. Judge righteous judgment. Judge by the presence felt, not by a report that has not yet reached your mailbox. Now trust the Lord work. In him we live and move and have our being. And that is as true of the one who asked as it is of you. Do not revisit the case. Do not prod the seed. Quietly, at your next period of turning, acknowledge again, Father, thou art the law, the life, the light here. Then wait. Christ doesn't send peace, protection, or supply as parcels. Christ is these in operation, peace as the very atmosphere, protection as the order of being, supply as the effortless activity of God. Stand aside, let loose, and let the Christ be the law of harmony in you, through you, and as the one you seem to help. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Now we come to discernment, because many confuse a lifted mood with the arising of presence. Emotional comfort is a weather change. A cloud passes, the sun peaks, and for a moment warmth touches the face. Then another breeze, and you are cold again. Realized presence is not weather. It is the still sun that dissolves the fear without offering reasons. It does not argue with you. It settles you. My peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth. That peace is not an explanation. It is an atmosphere. When it comes, you will find that the breath moves without effort, the body unclenches of itself, and there is an inner rightness that asks for no proof. You do not know how you know, but you know, I am here. These are the signs of assurance, a soft radiance in the heart, not excitement, a deep yes that does not need a headline, a sense of sufficiency that is content with God's isness. Often it appears as the simplest release. Suddenly you discover you are no longer holding the concern. There is no triumph. There is only quiet. Sometimes there is a warmth that permeates, or a sweet weightlessness behind the eyes. Sometimes it is only a gentle word within, as natural as your own thought, yet not born of you. Be not afraid. Do not try to embellish these with phrases. Do not press them for guarantees. Be still and know that I am God. Let the knowing be enough. Now comes the temptation. Having touched that assurance, the mind runs to the window of outcomes to see if anything has changed. It checks the mailbox, the phone, the report. Refuse the peak. Judge not according to the appearance. Judge righteous judgment. If you seek confirmation in forms, you have left the sanctuary for the courtyard. Abide. Let the felt sufficiency of God be your evidence. The government is upon his shoulder, not yours. Trust the law invisible before the letter visible. So it is. If agitation returns, and sometimes it will, like a ripple after a boat has passed, treat it not as failure, but as a bell calling you home. Do not add more words. Do not bargain. Sit down. Be still. Turn within and wait again until that soft authority not of your making reappears. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. A minute may suffice. The point is not the length, but the listening. We are not stacking statements. We are consenting to presence. At times, with the assurance, one sentence may rise, one living, unforced line. Speak it once and stop. Repeating it to make it work betrays that you think it is the sentence that does the work. It has to be God's grace. Let the word be seed. Do not dig it up to inspect its root. Rest. So learn to trust the inner assurance above any immediate appearance. The world rushes to headlines. We return to the hush. The letter asks for evidence. Realization is its own proof. The kingdom of God is within you. When that is felt, hold to it as no hold abide without gripping. If the wind stirs, return. If the sun is veiled, wait. The Christ that is realized in you is the law of harmony to all concerned. Judge by the presence, not by the hour. Peace will have its perfect work, and you will find that what needed doing has been done quietly, lawfully, because God is in the midst of you. Because there is only one soul in this room, one mind, one spirit. What is realized as God in one point of awareness is not confined there. It does not travel as a thought sent across space. It is recognized because there are not many separate consciousnesses competing, but one expressing itself as many. In him we live and move and have our being. So when you are still, when you consent to the presence until that soft authority is felt, do not be surprised if another, receptive without knowing why, sighs in relief at the very hour you rested in God. They may never think of you. They need not. Grace operates by law, not by will. Picture an ordinary day. Early, you sat down not to fix anyone, not to gather outcomes, but simply to be still and know that I am God. The warmth rose, the hush settled, and you went about your work. Across town, your friend who had woken under a gray weight finds mid-morning that the tightness in her chest has loosened. She cannot explain it. The conversation at the office eases. An old offense is not repeated. A child, restless all week, naps in sudden peace. No one sent a beam. No one pushed a thought. Christ realized in you has become the law of harmony. And those attuned knowingly or not register that climate. Now hear the guardrails that protect the sanctity of this law. Never aim to control a person. Never hold an outcome in your fist and try to steer events by invisible force. That is personal will dressed in spiritual garments. Let loose right now. Forget them. Forget the picture. Be still and know that I am God. Your part is realization. The government is upon his shoulder. When you rest there, the pressure lifts from everyone, including you, because you have refused the throne. Do not decorate this with pride. If a letter comes saying, something changed today, rejoice in God, not in your name. I of my own self can do nothing. There are no such things as many demonstrations. There is only one demonstration, the realization of the Christ. Where receptivity meets that realization, harmony appears as if by the simplest law of nature, as light fills a room when a shade is raised. It is not your virtue, it is God's isness, finding no resistance. So let the practice remain simple and pure. Sit down, turn within, release persons and plans. Wait until the inner yes, the quiet peace, is present. Then rise and let the day unfold, trusting that the Christ realized in you is at that very moment the law of life to all who are open. They may feel it without ever thinking of you. You may never hear of it. So it is. Let the radiance be of God and rest. Now we lift our eyes to the wider noise and confess the tension we all feel. God is, and yet the world shouts its fear. God is, and yet headlines parade division, scarcity, anger, and war. How do you match that up with those conditions? You cannot, not by proclaiming God louder, nor by winning arguments in the public square. Christ is a reality if so be the Spirit of God dwell in you, not professed, realized. The letter can shout, the Spirit must appear. So the work is not to add your voice to the clamor. The work is to withdraw from the noise until the presence is a living fact in you, and then to let that realized presence be the law of harmony where you are. Do not misunderstand this withdrawal. It is not neglect. It is obedience to the only place power resides. The kingdom of God is within you. Therefore, when the world rattles its chains in your ears, shut the door for a few minutes. Be still and know that I am God. Wait until the unmistakable assurance rises, the soft authority not of your making. Then, from that quiet, do the next simple thing as you are led. If you are to speak, speak from silence. If you are to give, give without trumpet. If you are to stand, stand without hatred. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Outrage will tempt you. Refuse its energy. The wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. Let your activism be the inner law of peace that governs your words and your steps. Accept, too, the humility of scale. You are not appointed to fix the world. You are called to embody the kingdom. A lamp does not chase darkness down alleys. It is placed upon a stand, and it shines. A little leaven leaveneth the whole lump, not by struggle, but by presence, because there is only one mind. What is realized as God in you registers lawfully in those receptive, near or far. You need not see the ripple. You need only tend the spring. Be faithful in the small, the neighbor's burden, the quarrel you refuse to rehearse, the bread given in secret, the listening that disarms a room. These are not small before God. They are the forms harmony takes when Christ is realized. You will see stories that beckon you to react. Put up thy sword. Judge not according to the appearance. Judge righteous judgment. Turn within first until peace is felt. Then move or do not move as that peace directs. Some days it will be a phone call. Some days it will be a posture of silence. Some days it will be the steady labor of your craft offered without anxiety. Whatever it is, let it be born of assurance, not adrenaline. So we answer the world's clamor from within, not with louder proclamations, but with realized presence. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, not as argument, but as atmosphere. Be still and know that I am God, and then let your life, quiet, local, faithful, be the sermon. Christ does not send peace as a package. Christ is peace as law. As that law takes form in you, the noise around you loses its power, and the harmonies appointed to your circle appear without pressure, without pride, because God is in the midst of you. Now we speak of rhythm, the simple cadence that makes a way for grace to order your steps without your supervision. Begin the day with realization. Before headlines, before the household stirs, sit down. Close the inner door and be still and know that I am God. Do not ask for a program. Consent to presence. When the soft authority appears, a peace, a warmth, a quiet yes rise. 6 hours later, return for a few minutes, not to repeat words, but to renew surrender. Then, for a season, touch the silence hourly, 1 minute, a breath, a turning until it takes over. And you discover the day is being carried. The government is upon his shoulder. Expect obstacles and meet them with the same stillness. There will be dryness, no feeling, no word, only the sense of sitting in a bare room. Do not decorate the room. Do not reach for another technique. The letter killeth, but the spirit giveth life. Sit as obedience, not as experiment. There will be impatience timelines whispering, has anything happened? Answer them. I of my own self can do nothing. Then wait. There will be technique chasing and spiritual consumerism, the promise that the next phrasing, the next method, the next teacher will do what surrender has not yet been allowed to do. Let loose. Return to silence. The cure is not more, but less, the fewer words that end in stillness, the fewer plans that end in thy will be done, when, as it will, an outcome creeps into the sanctuary. Reset the aim at once. Whisper, one thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after that I might know thee. Then take the object that has intruded this contract, this diagnosis, this reputation, and release it into the Father's keeping. Father, I release this into thy bosom. My one desire is thy presence. Be still and know that I am God. In a moment, the clutching will open, and with it the way. Make your house a practice ground for surrender. My child is not my child, it is the child of God. My spouse is God's beloved, not mine to steer. This money is not a fortress, it is God's activity and flow. This body is the temple of the living God, not a project under my control. Cast thy burden upon the Lord. Return each concern to its source, not with drama, but with the naturalness of breathing. Then act as you are led. Pay the bill. Make the call. Cook the meal without anxiety, because your doing is proceeding from realized presence. As realization stabilizes, you will find you need fewer words. A glance Godward suffices. A breath becomes a sanctuary. Often there is no statement at all, only a hush in which my peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, is known without syllables. From that hush, the day orders itself, appointments line up, tempers soften, needs meet themselves without your pushing. There are no such things as many demonstrations. There is only one demonstration, the realization of the Christ. And as you keep this release-centered rhythm, grace quietly governs your affairs. So it is. Be faithful in the cadence. Morning realization, renewal at 6 hours, hourly touches until it takes over, and you live not by effort but by presence. Hear the paradox once more, now is promise and seal. The more you try to secure an outcome, the less you have of it. The less you seek outcomes, and the more you surrender to God alone. The kingdom is realized as your very life. He that loseth his life for my sake shall find it. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, not as words to be recited, but as a way to breathe. Loosen your grip and discover what has always been true. God is in the midst of you. The clutch opens, and with it the way. Receive this commission, as if the Father himself were placing it in your heart. From this hour, stop seeking effects. Be still and know that I am God. Sit, turn within, and wait until the unmistakable assurance is present. The soft authority, not of your making. The hush that says without syllables, I am here. Then proceed. Do not move because you crave resolution. Move because presence has appeared. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I might know thee. Let every act be born of that knowing. Here is your daily liturgy, simple and sufficient. In the morning, sit down and close the inner door. Use any true statement only as a doorway into silence, and then wait. When peace settles, rise gently and do the next simple thing. 6 hours later, return for a few quiet minutes, not to manipulate results, but to renew surrender. Then, for a season, touch the silence hourly, a breath, a turning, a minute, until it takes over. Let every thought finish in stillness. If an outcome intrudes, release it into the bosom of the Father at once. Father, I release this into thy keeping. My one desire is thy presence. Then wait and move only from assurance. Have no limit on God's capacity to reveal itself. Eye hath not seen, nor ear heard, neither hath it entered into the heart of man the things prepared of God for them that love him. Christ does not send health, supply, guidance, safety, as if from a distance. Christ is the activity of every needed good. Where the Christ is realized, harmony appears of itself, forms arrange, ways open, provisions flow without your pressure, because there is only one mind. What is realized in you radiates lawfully to those attuned. You need not force it. You need only abide. Now seal it in humility. I of my own self can do nothing. It has to be God's grace, not by might nor by power, but by my spirit. Let it take over. There are no such things as many demonstrations. There is only one demonstration, the realization of the Christ. Live from that realized presence, and let all harmonies be its natural flow. Be still and know. Wait, receive, and move gently. The government is upon his shoulder. So it is.